Conversations around what a technology solution will eventually look like are debated at varying levels of depth depending on the culture, philosophy, and expertise of those involved in such conversations. This is also impacted by the degree to which decision-makers are willing to spend time thinking and talking before doing. The emergence of rapid changes in technology innovation and speed to market paradigms makes most organizations more aligned with the fail-fast philosophy than otherwise. Very few thought leaders still want to push the agenda of spending time to consider impact of architecture decisions before taking action. After all, the bottom line is how much money the technology solution will make eventually and how quickly. In your shop, what are the most important considerations when making choices about how your solution will be built? The basics of which technical components are involved, what standards we must align to, and what risks we must be aware of are taken for granted. In this article we will explore just two broader considerations that may impact your decisions and question whether it is important to go that far in your thinking when building the next solution. 1. Is carbon footprint on the technical agenda? One of the unspoken promises of cloud computing is the infinite availability of resources. At least that is how the promise of scalability is perceived by many. As an organization, we can always scale up and scale out if need be. But the more we adopt efficient, highly scalable, and redundant infrastructure, the more we realize that this means more power, more cooling, more demand for copper, silicon, lithium, and the likes. As an organization, we may not be directly responsible for this rapid growth in demand for power, cooling, and more, but as humanity, we have to pay for it eventually. Talk about big picture thinking. Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations came up with 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, in September 2015. These were conceived with the aim of addressing a wide range of global challenges and creating a more sustainable, equitable, and resilient world by the year 2030. 3 of these goals, 11, 12, and 13, strike the heart of this article to varying degrees of alignment. Sustainable cities and communities make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. The goal recognizes the increasing urbanization trends globally and the importance of addressing the challenges associated with urban development. Responsible consumption and production, the need to promote sustainable patterns of consumption and production to reduce the environmental impact, enhance resource efficiency, and address the challenges associated with overconsumption and waste generation. Climate action, the urgent need to take action to combat climate change and its impacts. Addressing climate change is essential for achieving sustainable development, as it has widespread implications for ecosystems, economies, and societies worldwide. https://thytin.com/ref/102. Imagine SDGs in architecture conversations. While many IT teams make decisions based on cost, emerging technology, and available expertise, new thinking is calling our attention to these SDGs directly or indirectly. A conversation around the choice of object storage in the cloud may be replete with cliches like "it doesn't matter, it's just $0.01/GB/month. Don't overthink it." Meanwhile, every additional wasted storage unit implies more power, more cooling, and more raw materials from Congo DR, Niger, and other disadvantaged African countries. In the following article, Massachusetts Institute of Technology's Stephen Gonzalez Montserrat refers to cloud as a carbonivore while pointing out that only the richest of the rich is paying attention to sustainable data center management. When was the last time you tried to bring up something as profound as carbon footprint in a design conversation? How did that go? Did you hear a little laughter, or were you simply ignored? Those seem to be the most probable options in today's IT organization. 2. Is humanity winning or losing? Automation is scary. Automation has scared techies and other traditional workforce members since the dawn of personal computing. Every decade its impact escalates and more people are scared of losing jobs to machines. The most recent scare is generative AI, which promises to take away 10% of jobs/tasks in the United States, according to Forrester and McKinsey & Company, and across 4 occupational categories: customer service, food service, production or manufacturing, and office support. According to McKinsey, the emergence of the robot race continues to threaten the existence of the human race in the workplace. One wonders how this impact affects nations in Africa, which are often not the focus of the global consulting companies, the likes of which I mentioned in the previous paragraph. If 10% of jobs are impacted in the United States in the next 10 years, what will that picture look like in Africa? Do our decisions to adopt technology take into account the human impact? Is it an important consideration, and where is the balance? Humanity, the rise of soft skills. On the other hand, as the world of technology evolves, we are again reminded of the value of human connection in many emerging roles of the new economy. LeanIX lists superior soft skills as number 5 of 10 top skills enterprise architects need in 2024. Other roles and practices such as product management, human-centered design, service management, customer experience, and so forth apparently demand the injection of attributes that are perceived difficult to mimic in machines. Is the need for soft skills a way to placate us humans so as to make us more comfortable with the dominance of machines in the workplace, or is there really a need for more human-like skills? One client once pointed out, anyone can do this. Why do we need to give it a big name such as enterprise architect, business analyst, or product manager? Maybe it's the level of sophistication, the knowledge of frameworks, and the scope of impact that gives these big names some relevance. Who is in the room? A few programmers. Most emerging disciplines in non-core tech fields agree with the concept of stakeholder engagement. This looks great on paper, but not everyone is comfortable when someone in the room raises an unpopular perspective in a design conversation. Imagine having a climate action expert suddenly describing the details of SDG 13 just when you finished deciding on how you are going to use REST APIs to achieve communication between microservices sitting on AWS Elastic Kubernetes Service, EKS, and a subprogram leveraging Azure Event Hub. Eyes rolling. The truth is, the spread of stakeholders in the design conversation goes a long way to determine whether all aspects, even the profound, forgotten ones, will be touched. Collaborative and comprehensive design requires openness to a broad range of perspectives, especially in our highly integrated world. Let's consider a simple example. Just last week, I had to do an update on a certain platform by adding relatives in Nigeria to my beneficiary list. The platform was developed by a Ghanaian company, and while the country code list was specified in the phone number field, the sample phone number in the field was +233XXXXXXXX. When I eventually tried to submit the form, the interface returned an error requesting a Ghana card for any beneficiary above 18. Chances are the design of that portion of the platform were not extensive enough. Obviously, there were more important design considerations in this context, and accommodating foreign beneficiaries may not have been an important use case in the product backlog. But the point is, the more thorough the thinking is, the broader the thought pool is, the less the gaps. Conclusion. We do not always have all the answers, but part of architecture work is to try to make sure we are asking the right questions. Questions inspire holistic, long-term thinking. Holistic, long-term thinking addresses enterprise and technical debt. Holistic, long-term thinking is facilitated by effective stakeholder engagement. It is not as easy to achieve as it is to write in an article, but it is worth considering for those reading who have to grapple with the impact of today's decisions on tomorrow's outcomes. I hope you found this useful.